Our ninth contestant, Ashley McGlone. Start with a can of soup. Start with a can of soup, Ashley McGlone.
Knock, knock, knock. You could tell he was tired by the tempo of the knock. On a day like every other summer day, Mom was cooking in the kitchen, and Dad, of course, was stretched out on the couch after working in the garden. And then we heard his knock. A young encyclopedia salesman had found our house in the country. As we flipped through the pages, I said, "Dad, look! These are like the pictures in National Geographic." Dad said, "Yep, these even have clothes on." It was hard to tell him no, but Dad had to tell him the truth. "I can't afford your books, but you're welcome to stay for dinner." That young salesman pounced on a bowl of vegetable soup like a bony stray cat on a bowl of milk. We just stopped to watch him eat. Madam Chair, fellow Toastmasters, I discovered a timeless secret that day, and it wasn't in those books he was selling. Watching my dad, I discovered that everyday living is everyday giving. Years later, I found out where Dad had learned that when my grandma taught me the same lesson. Mary and I couldn't wait to get married. Do you remember your first apartment? When you get married halfway through college, they won't let you live in the dorm. Our first apartment was literally a cinder block hut. She earned $500 a month working at a daycare. And she would come home to our cozy concrete condo, and the Iron Chef had been busy in the kitchen. She would smell the fine aroma of my special recipe. She would say, ramen noodles! Again! Some days, while Mary was working, I was shuffling through the line at a food bank, waiting to receive a few free pounds of food, just so we could make it through the week. And my grandma, she wouldn't want me to tell you this, but she started sending us $50 a month. With that money, we ate a lot of humble pie as we realized that our everyday living was possible because of Grandma's everyday giving. Like Leslie said earlier today, this year's economy has taken a toll on many households, including my own. And you're probably thinking, "Ashley, I would love to give and help people. I just don't have that extra $50 a month." But giving's not always about money. Back then, being poor married college students, we thought we could save some money with one of those food club memberships. You know the places. You get a gallon of peanut butter and a jug of jelly and a second mortgage. Well, we were headed to a free concert in Lexington, and we decided to swing by the food club on the way. But when we got to the concert, there was Jimmy and Lisa's car in the parking lot. Now, Jimmy and Lisa, they were poor married friends of ours in the same boat, except their boat was the Titanic. My wife Mary looked at me and she said, "Ashley, we have to give them something." Then she popped the hatchback on our faded Ford Escort, and handed me a 12-pack case of soup cans. Well, I made sure no one was looking, and I snuck across the parking lot, and then I stashed them on top of their car, and then with a clever grin, we waltzed on into the concert and didn't say a word. But the story doesn't end there. The next week, we were over at Jimmy and Lisa's apartment visiting with them. And Lisa said, Ashley, last week before we went to that concert, we ate our last hot dog. Lisa, really? Ashley, we didn't have any other food left in the house. But then we came out of the concert and there were a dozen cans of soup on top of our car. Lisa, that's fantastic. How did that happen? Ashley, that soup fed us for the whole week. That's it. Yeah! Wow! That's what it feels like. That day, we discovered the joy of everyday giving. The financial crisis has turned bankers into borrowers, spenders into savers, and savers into misers. But my challenge to you is to change your standard of living to a standard of giving. Why? Because in the midst of our everyday living, everyday giving will feed that hungry stranger on your doorstep. Everyday giving will lift that young couple so they can stand on their own feet. And everyday giving will fill your life with joy. Ashley, how do I start? Do you know someone that's lost a job this year? Do you know a widow or a single parent? Start simply. Start with someone you know. Start with a can of soup.